Are you stuck? Seriously. Are you living in your own head, caught in the quicksand of what ifs? Are you drowning in indecision, second guessing every possible move, feeling like the crushing weight of 1,000 potential choices is just absolutely pinning you down? Like you're frozen, just staring at where you want to be but unable to take a single step? If that feeling resonates deep down, if that sounds even remotely like your daily reality, lean in right now, because today we are absolutely breaking you free. We are cutting the anchor and we are moving forward. Think about it. We live in this hyper-connected, always-on world, don't we? Our phones are buzzing constantly. We're scrolling through endless options presented to us 24/7. What career path to chase, which side hustle to start or abandon, where to live, dating apps screaming potential partners, what to learn online, even what freaking show to binge watch tonight, or what filter to use on a photo. It is genuinely insane. And the pressure that comes with this overwhelming menu of life, don't even get me started. This fear of missing out, this relentless FOMO we hear about. It's not just about parties or vacations anymore. It's morphed into a deep-seated anxiety about missing out on the right life path, missing out on your potential, seeing everyone else seemingly figure it out while you're still buffering. And guess what? You are not alone in this. Not even close. Research screams it. Studies consistently show that well over 60% of people, especially younger generations, navigating this digital onslaught, feel this crushing weight of decision fatigue. This isn't just feeling a bit tired. It's like your brain's Wi-Fi signal is constantly overloaded, stuck on a perpetual loading screen, buffering, 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 unable to download a clear thought, a clear direction, a clear choice. You keep thinking, I need more information. I need to weigh every angle. What if I make the wrong choice? But here's the truth, plain and simple. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not fundamentally flawed. What you are is overwhelmed. You are experiencing decision paralysis on a scale humanity has frankly never seen before. And that feeling of being perpetually stuck, that exhausting loop in your head of, I don't know what to do, so I guess I'll just stay put and think about it some more. That is the heavy anchor holding you right where you are, preventing you from sailing towards whatever's next. But here is the incredibly good news, the truth that can actually set you free. It absolutely, positively does not have to be this way. That feeling of being stuck, that constant confusion, that paralysis, it is not your permanent state. It is not who you are. We are going to dive deep together right now. We're going to unpack exactly why your incredible complex brain does this when faced with too many choices and too much pressure. And more importantly, way more importantly, we are going to give you the simple, science-backed tools you need to grab a hold of that anchor, understand how it works, and finally, unequivocally, cut it loose so you can actually finally move forward and start building the life you dream about. Stick with me. This is where we begin. All right, let's cut through the noise and talk about what is actually happening inside your brilliant but sometimes sabotaging brain when you hit that wall of indecision, when you feel completely stuck. It's not just passive thinking. Oh no. What you're experiencing is a full-blown overthinking spiral. It's a loop, a trap, and it feels impossible to escape. Imagine this. And I know so many of you are living this right now because you tell me constantly. You're nearing the end of high school, maybe in community college, or even just starting university, and you have to pick a major. This isn't just picking a flavor of ice cream. This feels like picking the rest of your life. You've got this spark for creative writing. Maybe you love storytelling, building worlds, expressing yourself. But then you hear the chatter. Tech jobs are the only jobs. You'll never make money as a writer. Suddenly, your parents have opinions. Your well-meaning aunt is sending you articles about AI replacing artists. Your friends are all diving into what seems like sensible, structured paths. And then you scroll Instagram, and everyone else seems to be effortlessly crushing it, doing something amazing. Everything. So, what do? You default to what feels productive. Research. You Google. You read articles. You watch YouTube testimonials. You make pros and cons lists that start logical but soon stretch farther than your grocery list. Detailed spreadsheets mapping every possible outcome. This isn't just harmless exploration. This is you starting to spin. You fall down these rabbit holes. What if I choose creative writing and I hate it in 2 years? What if I can't find a job that pays the bills? What if I pick tech and I'm miserable every single day? What if I choose wrong and completely mess up my future? What if I regret this forever? Sound familiar? That frantic energy, that feeling of your brain working overtime but going nowhere? That's a major part of your prefrontal cortex. That amazing, logical, analytical part of your brain, the decision maker, the planner, going into overdrive. It's trying valiantly to analyze every single possible outcome, every contingency, every potential pitfall. It's doing its job of helping you plan and foresee consequences, but it's stuck on repeat. But here's the absolute kicker. The part that turns analytical thinking into an overthinking spiral. Your prefrontal cortex isn't working alone. Not when you're feeling this pressure and anxiety. It's teamed up with your amygdala. This is your brain's primal fear center. Its job is to spot danger and trigger a response. Back in the day, that was a saber-toothed tiger. Today, it's often the idea of danger, the idea of failure, regret, judgment, or falling behind. Every single one of those, what if I, questions you're tumbling through. What if I choose wrong? What if I fail? What if I fall behind? Each one sends a little jolt of anxiety, a micro trigger to your amygdala. And that little jolt of fear, it doesn't shut down your prefrontal cortex, it hijacks it. The fear response tells your prefrontal cortex, emergency, danger. We must avoid this at all costs. The danger isn't a physical threat. It's what I call the fear of making the wrong choice. And when your amygdala is shouting danger, your prefrontal cortex stops trying to find the best option and starts desperately trying to avoid the perceived worst option. It's trying to make the safe choice, the bulletproof choice, the one that guarantees you won't feel that sickening punch of regret or failure. But guess what? There is no such thing. And this is how the spiral works. The overthinking, the constant analysis and what-if scenarios feeds the anxiety triggered by the amygdala. That anxiety makes the feeling of choosing wrong feel even more terrifying, which then demands even more analysis from your prefrontal cortex to find that mythical safe path. More analysis leads to more potential what-ifs, which triggers more anxiety. And on it goes. It's a vicious, self-perpetuating feedback loop. You are not moving toward a decision. You are simply spinning your wheels deeper and deeper into the mud of indecision and paralysis. You're stuck because your brain is locked in a fight-or-flight response, not to an external threat, but to the idea of making a mistake. Recognizing this pattern, understanding that this isn't just you being indecisive, it's your brain's fear response getting stuck on repeat. That is the absolute first, most critical step to interrupting it. You have to see the spiral to break free. Okay, deep breath. You're stuck, right? Or maybe you're standing at a crossroads, utterly paralyzed, scrolling through options, asking friends, making pro-con lists that go on for miles, and doing absolutely nothing. Why? Because you're terrified of making the wrong choice. And here is where we drop the first huge brick of truth on the house of cards that is your overthinking. Ready for your first massive aha moment of the day? There is no perfect choice. Let me say it again, louder for the people in the back and louder for the relentless perfectionist voice inside your own head. There is no perfect choice. Period. Full stop. End of story. Let that sink into your bones. That feeling of paralysis you're experiencing, it isn't because the decision is impossible. It's because you're exhaustively searching for something that doesn't exist. This mythical guarantee, this one magical path bathed in celestial light, complete with a choir of angels singing, promising zero bumps, zero doubts, zero challenges, zero moments where you think, maybe I should have done something slightly different. That path? It's a fantasy. It's a construct of your fear. Life isn't about passively finding the one right road that's already laid out for you. It's about actively choosing a road, any road, and then engaging with fierce intention to create the path as you walk it. Think about anyone you admire who has built a life or career they love. Did they just miraculously stumble onto some prefab, flawless expressway to success? Heck, no. They picked a direction. They took a step. They got it wrong sometimes. They hit walls. They doubted themselves. They learned. They course-corrected. They adjusted. They kept moving forward. They didn't find the right path. They made the path right through action, iteration, and commitment. See? The fear you feel, the gut-wrenching anxiety about making the wrong choice, it's based on a completely faulty premise. It assumes there's this singular, perfect alternative out there that you're one wrong move away from missing forever. It's a lie. And get this, the real wrong choice is so often the decision to do nothing, to stay frozen, immobilized by the analysis. Because while you are stuck, agonizing over infinite possibilities, weighing hypotheticals, researching every single potential outcome into oblivion, guess what? Life is not waiting. Opportunities are not pausing. They are passing you by every single day. That terrible feeling that you're missing out? That's FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. And it's the most ironic paradox of all. Your fear of missing out is causing you to miss everything by keeping you stuck, paralyzed, taking no action at all. The cost of inaction, the cost of staying in this frozen state of indecision is almost always far, far greater than the risk of making a choice that might require you to adjust later. Because adjustment, correction, pivoting, that's part of the process of creation. That's making the path. That's not failure. That's just life. So let's get real. Ditch the exhausting fictional quest for perfection. Stop waiting for the angels to appear. Stop believing there's some foolproof, risk-free option you just haven't found yet. There isn't one. Your job is not to find the perfect choice. Your job is to make a choice, any choice that feels like a step forward, and then commit to making that choice work for you. Embrace the process of creation. Embrace the messiness. Embrace the adjustments. Aim for progress, not perfection. Got it? Good. Now let's move. All right, let's dive into the second major AHA moment today. And this one is a total game changer if you are feeling stuck, uncertain, or just plain overwhelmed. Listen closely. You cannot think your way to clarity. Period. Full stop. I need you to let that sink in because we are taught the opposite, aren't we? We're told to just think harder, analyze it more, make a pro-con list. And while those things have their place, they will never give you the deep, gut level clarity you're craving when you're facing a big decision or feeling lost. Clarity doesn't magically appear after hours, days, weeks, or even months of agonizing mental debate. It doesn't descend upon you like a mystical fog while you're paralyzed on the couch, lost in the labyrinth of your own worries. No, clarity comes from action. It comes from engagement. It comes from experimentation. It comes from trying something, doing something, getting real-world feedback, and then adjusting your course based on that feedback. Think about it. When you're stuck in overthinking mode, you are trapped, and I mean trapped, entirely inside your head. Specifically, you're running endless logic loops in your prefrontal cortex. That's your fancy thinking brain. It's brilliant at complex problems, absolutely. But only when it has data. When you're overthinking something you haven't actually tried or experienced, your prefrontal cortex is essentially running a simulation in a vacuum. It's speculating based on incomplete or non-existent real-world data. It's hypothesizing about a reality it hasn't touched yet. It's like trying to predict the taste of a new flavor of ice cream by just reading the ingredients list. You could read it 100 times, analyze the sugar content, the fat percentages, the chemical compounds, but you won't know what it tastes like until you take a freaking bite. But the moment you take action, even a tiny, imperfect, slightly terrifying action, everything changes. You break free from the vacuum of your own skull. You step out of the hypothetical and into the actual. You engage different parts of your brain. You step out the door. You make the phone call. You take the bite. And most importantly, you get information. Real, verifiable, undeniable information about reality. Maybe you're debating a career change. Instead of thinking about it for another 6 months, what if you volunteer for a day in a field you're considering? Maybe you offer to shadow someone. Maybe you just talk to someone who made the choice you're contemplating, not just thinking about talking to them, but actually doing it. Or maybe you have a huge, scary project like writing a book or an essay. Stop staring at the blank page, paralyzed by the enormity. Just start writing the first paragraph. Or hell, just write the first sentence. It was a dark and stormy night. Doesn't matter if it's perfect. What matters is you started. That action, however small, however trivial it might seem, provides feedback. It tells you, oh, wow, this does feel interesting. I could see myself doing this. Or maybe the feedback is, nope, absolutely not this. Get me out of here. Both are incredibly valuable data points. That nope is not failure. It's precious clarity gained through action that you never would have gotten staying stuck thinking in your head. And this isn't just some feel-good motivational poster nonsense. There's science backing this up. Psychologists and economists talk about something called action bias. It's the principle that in situations of uncertainty or perceived crisis, there's a psychological and often practical tendency to favor doing something over remaining passive. Not just any random thing, but a bias towards action. Why? Because action, even if it's not the optimal action, breaks the paralysis. It generates momentum. It produces data you didn't have before. It proves to your brain, to your lizard brain that's screaming, danger, uncertainty, that you can move forward. You are not frozen. You have agency. Stop waiting for the lightning bolt of certainty to strike you while you sit there, analyzing every possible angle into oblivion. That bolt isn't coming to your couch. It strikes people who are out there doing. It strikes people who are experimenting, failing, adjusting, and trying again. Your clarity is not behind you with all the analysis. Your clarity is not inside your head. Your clarity is waiting for you out there. So get off the couch. Step away from the endless thought loops. Go touch something. Go try something. Go do something. That's where you're going to find your answers. All right, let's talk about how you actually break free from that mental quicksand. You know, that moment between knowing what you should do, like finally starting that project, having that tough conversation, or just getting out of bed, and actually doing it. That gap where your brain starts screaming, wait, analyze more. What if it goes wrong? That hesitation, that overthinking, it's the enemy of action. It's the birthplace of regret. You need a simple, powerful tool to interrupt that pattern. Because the moment you hesitate, your brain starts to associate whatever you're thinking of doing with negativity, with potential threats, kicking you right back into that fear and overthinking loop we discussed. And that's where the 5-second liftoff comes in. Yep, we're calling it the liftoff now. It's incredibly simple, scientifically proven, and it works like magic because it leverages how your brain actually functions. Here is the deal, and listen closely. The moment, the exact moment, you have an instinct, an impulse, a tiny whisper of an idea to act on a goal or step outside your comfort zone. Before, your brain has a nanosecond to talk you out of it, before the what ifs and the I'm not readies flood in. You interrupt the pattern by giving yourself a 5-second countdown. Out loud if you can, in your head if you must, but feel the numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And here's the critical part. On go, you physically move. You launch yourself into action. You initiate the task. You take that first step. Why does this seemingly silly countdown work? It's not magic. It's momentum married with neuroscience. Hesitation, that pause before you act, is the kiss of death for action. It signals to your brain that something might be wrong, triggering your primitive survival instincts, activating that fear response that keeps you small and stuck. The countdown isn't just counting, it's a starting ritual. It's an active anchor that pulls you out of your head and into the present moment of action. It interrupts the ingrained habit loop of overthinking and procrastination. It bypasses the emotional center of your brain, the one generating all that fear and doubt, and engages your prefrontal cortex, shifting your focus from worrying about doing something to actually starting to do it. It's like a rocket booster for your intentions. You use it for absolutely anything. You're resisting that you know you need or want to do. That moment your alarm goes off and the cozy bed is pulling you back down, don't think, just react. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, FEETONTHEFLOOR. Yes, it's that simple. Thinking about speaking up in a meeting, sharing an idea, or asking a question but feeling that familiar knot of nervousness? Don't let the anxiety build. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, raise your hand. Staring at a blank email, a daunting application, or a creative project, feeling overwhelmed. Don't wait for inspiration. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, type the first word. It's not about having the whole plan figured out before you start. It's about initiating movement. It's about breaking the gravitational pull of inertia and resistance. It's about taking control back from your overthinking brain and putting your body in motion towards your goals. This technique is your secret weapon against procrastination, against anxiety, against perfectionism. It's how you learn to trust your impulses instead of second-guessing yourself into inaction. It's how you build tiny wins that create momentum. It takes courage, yes, but it only takes 5 seconds of courage. That's all it takes to hijack your brain back from overthinking and launch yourself forward into the life you want to live. Start using the 5-second liftoff today. Don't wait. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. You got this. All right, let's bring this home, shall we? We've ripped the cover off that heavy blanket of feeling stuck, haven't we? We've stared down the beast of overthinking, that mental quicksand that sucks you in, paralyzing you with what ifs and should I haves. We've felt the weight of decision fatigue, the sheer exhaustion of having too many options and no clear path. And honestly, the terrifying fear of making the wrong move, right? You know the feeling, that churning in your stomach, the endless loop in your head, the way you just freeze up and waste precious energy and time agonizing over things that don't even matter in the long run. But we also unlocked something incredibly powerful together today. We busted one of the biggest, most insidious lies you tell yourself, that you need perfect clarity before you can act, because we smacked that lie down and replaced it with the undeniable truth. Clarity doesn't arrive while you're sitting still, lost in thought, hoping the answer will magically appear. No. Clarity comes from action, from putting one foot in front of the other, from gathering data, even if you can only see the very next step. And how, in the face of inertia and fear, do you take that first step when your body and brain are screaming, "Stop"? You use the most ridiculously simple, yet ridiculously effective tool we talked about, the 5-second liftoff. Remember, it's not complicated. It's not therapy. It's not some woo-woo concept. It's a physical trigger, a scientifically proven method to interrupt the signal from your brain that's trying to protect you by keeping you small and stuck. And instead, launch yourself into motion before hesitation can win. It's your immediate, accessible secret weapon against procrastination and overthinking. Now, let's be absolutely real for a moment. Navigating life today feels overwhelming sometimes. The sheer volume of options, the nonstop comparisons on social media, the speed of change. It's easy to feel lost at sea, paralyzed by choice. But listen closely, because this is the killer truth. Paralysis is not your destiny. It feels like it. I know. It feels like you're glued to the spot and there's nothing you can do about it. But staying stuck? That's a choice you make, perhaps unconsciously, but a choice nonetheless. Overthinking? That's a habit you built. Maybe you learned it to feel safe, to feel in control, but it's a habit nonetheless. And here's the most liberating part. You can break it. You have so much more power within you, so much more capability and resilience than that swirling anxiety in your head gives you credit for. You are not fragile. You are not incapable. You have navigated difficult situations before. You have figured things out on the fly. You can absolutely handle whatever comes your way after you make a decision. Trust that quiet knowing deep down. Reclaim your inherent resilience right now, because deep underneath the noise of the what ifs, you already know what you need to do. It's time to finally quiet the fear and start listening to your gut, that intuitive knowing that's been trying to get your attention. This is where we turn listening into doing. Right now. Don't let 5 minutes from now find you scrolling your phone, still stuck in your head, this conversation already fading into the background. We are going to translate this learning, this awareness, into immediate, tangible action. Right here, right now. I want you to scan your life today, this week. Think about all the small things that are buzzing around, creating that low-level hum of stress. What is one ridiculously small, tiny decision you've been putting off? Just one thing that pops into your head that, when you think about it, causes that little knot of procrastination or anxiety to tighten slightly. It absolutely does not have to be life-altering. Maybe it's finally sending that awkward email that's been sitting in your drafts for 3 days. Maybe it's making that quick 30-second phone call you've dreaded. Maybe it's choosing what you're going to eat for dinner right now, for goodness sake, without scrolling through delivery apps for 45 minutes. Maybe it's simply deciding to walk out your front door for a 5-minute breath of fresh air instead of staying sedentary. Maybe it's opening the envelope of that bill you've been avoiding looking at. Whatever it is, it should feel small enough to be easily achievable, but something you are currently avoiding or overthinking. Just one small decision. Identify it clearly. What is it? Have you got it? Good. Now, I want you to feel the familiar pull of hesitation bubbling up just slightly. That little voice whispering, later, or I don't want to, or what if? When you think about doing it, acknowledge it. That resistance is proof you're on the right track. And then we launch. With me. Out loud if you can, or just feel it internally, whatever works for you. We are going to count backwards together from 5, and when we hit go, you are going to physically move. You are going to initiate that one small action immediately. Ready? Feel the truth of this moment. Here we go. 5, 4 dots, 3 dots, 2 dots, 1 dot, 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 go. Do it. Right now. Initiate that action. Take that first tiny physical step. Open the laptop. Find your car keys. Stand up from the couch. Dial the number. Click send. Whatever the very first physical micro step is, do it. Feel that slight jolt in your body, that brief surge of energy that counters the inertia. That is you fighting against that ingrained hesitation pattern. That is you proving to yourself in a tiny, undeniable way that you are not stuck. You can disrupt the pattern. You can push through the resistance. This is how you build momentum. This is how you start taking your power back from paralysis. One single, powerful 5-second liftoff at a time. That feeling of completing even the smallest action, that little hit of accomplishment, is the immediate antidote to the heavy, suffocating feeling of being stuck. It's instant physical, psychological proof that you are in control. You don't need perfect. You need momentum, period. And it starts with this one small move you just made, or are making right now. Celebrate it mentally. Acknowledge that you did it. That's the entire secret sauce. Keep doing this throughout your day. One small decision that's been nagging at you, one 5-second launch to get it done. You are more capable than you know. You are incredibly resilient, and you absolutely 100% have got this. Now go on. What's the next small move?